LoreWarrior Vehicles, MIT-23 MASH vehicle. Overview. A half-decade into their overt war against the word of Blake, Comstar was quickly losing one vital resource faster than it could replenish: trained soldiers. Analysts pointed out that they could cut their losses by a third if medical treatment could be administered as little as 15 minutes earlier. To this end, they worked to update the Star League-era MASH unit that remained in the inner sphere. A quick answer was found in the MIT-23, a MASH unit that had recently entered service with the second Star League. By 3073, the MIT-23 had decreased Comstar's death toll by 10%. Capabilities. The MASH is not designed to be a combat vehicle. Designers knew that, and its primary focus would be in major battles where the combatants would respect the sanctity of medical units. If not, the minuscule armament of other MASH units was unlikely to be much of a deterrent. The MIT-23 was designed with a top speed of 86 kph, a fast speed for a unit primarily serving infantry. A special gyro-stabilized compartment was installed in the back of the unit, allowing the surgical area to remain steady and usable even in the worst terrain. To protect the vehicle, 3.5 ton of Star Slab armor prevents all but the most powerful battlefield weapons from damaging the surgery thereafter. While not enough to stop a determined assault, it will endure an errant shot. The theatres themselves are a work of medical and technological art. Utilising some equipment and techniques adapted from the clans, the MASH matches the capabilities of all but the best inner-sphere hospitals. With an eye toward an eventual peace, the theatres are designed so they can be reconfigured for specific purposes, though most are currently outfitted as trauma centres. 2 of the operating rooms can remove the wall in between them to allow for the most invasive of surgical operations. Doctors can even perform transplants and prosthetic attachments in most MASH theatres. One of the most innovative ideas in the MIT-23 is the common storage area. Fully automated, it allows sterile implements and supplies to be kept in one area, reducing shortages and wasteful redundancy. Deployment. The MIT-23 has been widely dispersed, with each division having been assigned at least one. Many Level 3s, particularly those units with a greater number of soldiers, have been assigned them, and demand is still high throughout the Comguard. Infantry morale is much higher when they know there's a MASH vehicle in the vicinity, while mech warriors pay little attention as a whole. Armor crews rest somewhere between the two extremes. Variants. Since the MIT-23 is a new vehicle, there aren't any variants as yet. Preliminary discussions of tracked and hover versions have occurred, but nothing's expected in the near future. Unlike other support units, such as the mobile headquarters or the ammo transports, there will be no trick units of the MIT-23 made. There's no wish to invite attacks on these vehicles, no matter what slight edge could be gained by doing so. Notable crews. Dr. Josh Hemingway, commander of the Nightingale. Dr. Hemingway has overseen the most active crew in 3074. Travelling independently of any military unit, the Nightingale saw action in 3 campaigns. While designed for more infantry units, this crew has found themselves with an abnormally high number of vehicle crews, having established new battlefield surgery techniques to increase the survival rates of burn victims. Perhaps the most noteworthy of all their accomplishments is the establishment of a truce between Blakist and Comstar forces outside the town of Obstathern. While operating on a bedraggled Comstar Level 2, half a Level 3 from the Word of Blake surrounded their position, and after the initial engagement, Dr. Hemingway convinced the Blakists to pull back if the MASH treated their wounded. For the next day, the air was tense as soldiers from both sides were being worked on, but in the end, this Blakist unit was true to its word and retreated with their recovering wounded. Chop Shop. The nickname applied to an MIT-23 captured by Blakists. The Chop Shop is a white vehicle painted with a teal-circled cross and a red hand on the back. It seems to have been modified to specifically work on the Mani Domini. Wild rumours of surgical experiments on prisoners are likely just that, but there is a reward for the return of this particular vehicle to Comstar. How big is this thing? Okay, so this is a 20-ton wheeled vehicle. It has a Hermes 80 fusion power plant. It can go 54 kph but max out 86 at flying speed. Its armour is the Star Slab sheet, has no weaponry. It's manufactured by Comtech and primarily manufactured on Ark Royal. Its communication system is the Angst Widecom and has no targeting and tracking system at all. Stat-wise, this means it moves 5 and 8 and has just a single control equipment. It has 20 armor on the front, which is quite respectable for a MASH vehicle, especially with all that glass. It has 13 on the sides and 10 on the rear. It has a whole 7 theatres of operation, which means this vehicle is decently large. Judging by the artwork, it doesn't seem huge, but I mean, when they've got the descriptions of the things that this unit can do, and it looks like multi-tiered as well, I don't know. It sounds like it would be a much larger vehicle than what is actually being shown here on screen, so I don't know. It's an interesting idea. Good addition, obviously. It's a support vehicle. Again, the kind of thing that you could throw in there as a narrative tool, something for one of the player characters to be in if they get injured, or it's the kind of thing that you could go out to capture. It's also the kind of thing that you don't want errant players deciding to shoot at, as I may be referencing a game that was GM'd by a friend of mine who explicitly told the players that the MASH vehicle was not the target, and they kept firing PPCs at it, and somehow kept missing, believe it or not. Although it wasn't this particular MASH vehicle, it was an older MASH vehicle, it was just the fact that they kept firing at the Mobile Army Surgical Hospital for some reason. Not quite sure why, despite the fact that I, as a co-GM and the GM, kept telling the players, it's a MASH vehicle, it doesn't need to be shot. Had they shot said MASH vehicle, the GM had the idea that the players would be basically sent into a obvious trap where they would just get annihilated because they being mercenaries, the contractors, who I think were the Free Worlds League, did not want to be associated with war criminals and would basically handed them over to the Federated Suns forces to be annihilated. I won't lie, I was kind of looking forward to that scenario playing out, considering the fact that, they had fucked up by blowing up the MASH vehicle. But somehow, as I said, the MASH vehicle survived every shot at it. I don't know how. And I'm not joking, there were numerous PPC shots at this thing, and I think LRM barrages at one point. And for some reason, they could just never hit it. And I was controlling it, I was moving it at max speed to give it as much of a bonus as possible. I wasn't just limping it like one hex at a time. Had to be seen to be believed, trust me. Anyway, that's the MIT-23 MASH vehicle. Have a good one all. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.